When I was younger, I was a lazy kid. My favorite pastime, other than mindless violence on my GameCube, was watching television. Since I was homeschooled, I got to watch the good shows that a lot of other kids couldn't watch during the day, provided my schoolwork was done before my mom got home. One of my preferred shows was Invader Zim, although boring at most. It had interesting characters, a foolish alien trying to dominate Earth, an artificial intelligence drone which acted like a 5-year-old child, and many more. However, the show only filmed about 2 or 3 different seasons, so I was stuck on repeats all the time. I didn't know why. The reason was that Nickelodeon canceled the show in early 2002. Even after a few years passed, I still watched the show here and there, because the episodes that were coming on air became seldom. That's when I got Netflix, which allowed me to watch every episode that was ever aired. However, with my garbage internet, the videos were usually choppy and glitched, such as pixels staying too long in one place, so I decided to invest in some DVDs with bonus features, but those were only available on eBay, so I stayed away from that. However, I had a friend who knew my interest in the show and directed me to his Friend from Nick. Initially, I took his word with a grain of salt, considering most of my friends were liars and backstabbers. Then I felt even less convinced when I saw the guy. He was no older than 40, with gray hairs here and there on his face and scalp. He said he had an old Invader Zim DVD, which he was about to give to me, or so I thought, until he pulled it back and held an empty hand out. Of course, he asked for $20 cash. I just gave it to him, and I got the DVD. After I got home, I examined the disc, and put it into my PC. Turns out, the art on the front was just covering an old CDR artwork, because that's all it was. It only had a few episodes. Oddly, they were my favorites out of the show: Nano Zim, Dark Harvest, Zim Eats Waffles, and Hobo 13. I shrugged it off as coincidence, but the 2 episodes I didn't recognize kind of intrigued me. I watched the first one expecting some garbage, blood on guts crap, but I just got a test episode named Pilot. I looked it up and it turns out there was an animation test for the series with different voice castings. But then there was one named 30A/B. After about 20 minutes of thinking, I believed it was the episode 10 Minutes to Doom, which was supposed to be the last episode, until Nickelodeon made the creators change it, because they were going to keep the show alive. So I was caught off guard. What happens in the original script is that Zim's pack is supposed to be disconnected and stolen by Dib, and they were supposed to both die. But in the remake, Zim gets the pack at the last second, saving both Dib and Zim. I was kind of nervous to watch that episode, so I watched the others with dying curiosity. I eventually gave in and started the episode. The intro was different, by colors, and had different shots of Zim flying around in different character screens. The quality was bad, with maybe 40 pixels that stuck most of the time. Instead of 10 Minutes to Doom, I got Gur's Big Day, which hilariously got Gur hit by a truck. After that fiasco of an episode, 10 Minutes to Doom started. The quality of the episodes was worse, and the animations were awkward. The coloring was also different. The show started with Zim blabbering to the tallest about conquering Earth, with them ending the call because of a lousy excuse. Then, Almighty Tallest Red says, "Ugh, this is pretty dark, but don't you wish sometimes Zim would just stop talking? Like, have his pack disconnected or something?" It zooms out back to Earth with Zim mumbling to himself, inaudibly. I could see someone in the background moving when he went upstairs. Then, as he goes through the trash can elevator in the kitchen, his pack gets caught on the lid, and since he's going upstairs so quickly, it gets ripped off. He shrieks, either in pain or fear, which made me jump. He then grabs his pack and shouts for his computer to estimate how much time is left. I should also mention that the music started sounding like a modern version of the song in Slender, with more instruments, which wasn't normal for the show. Dib's eyes opened wide while Zim is panicking. His voice is heard as if any viewer could hear his thoughts. What is he freaking out about? The computer replies that Zim has 10 minutes left. Zim shivers and heads towards the trash can. Joker grabs the pack and plays with it as his normal self would. Then Dib comes in and takes it. Zim starts freaking out as Dib runs away. The computer reminds Zim that he has about 9 minutes left. I start counting the time at this point. It then snaps to Dib, examining the pack, realizing the same. In excitement, he shouts that he can finally defeat Zim, holding the pack to his stomach. Then something happened. Dib started screaming as the pack dug 2 tentacle-like cords into his stomach, and his mouth started foaming, and Dib collapses. This goes on to the 7-minute mark. It swipes back to Zim when the computer announces that the pack is being used. Zim realizes quickly that it's Dib, but he says, "The Dib thing has it?" Thing? I was thinking something more than physical was going on with Zim. It switches to Dib, who is coughing up blood in his house and grunting in pain. He lays there from the 6.5-minute mark to 5 minutes, then attempts to get Zim by going out the window. He is mumbling about conquest and Earth after the fall from the window. I thought he would be in severe pain, but I guess not. It's at 4 minutes that goes that Zim becomes disoriented and walks around his home, coughing very badly. He looked a different color, more of a grayish color than green. As he walks, it shows a shot off his back, which looks completely horrible. It was scraped with gray skin peeling. Zim utters some words which are inaudible and passes out, with green stuff dripping out of his mouth. The scene changed to Dib walking down the street, where Gaz is walking home. Gaz walks by, disgusted with her brother, and walks by hastily. At that point, it's at 3 minutes when Dib collapses, spasms, and stops moving, as a drum beat starts playing, getting faster as the time drops. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. And then when time ran out, the screen cut to black and the video ended. I was extremely disturbed by what I just saw. I couldn't believe what I saw. I went online to see if this really was the episode. It wasn't. I went to YouTube and found original recordings of the episode in audio form, since it wasn't finished. But what occurred to me what if this was the original episode? I guess so. The blood didn't surprise me because of the bloody gore. I don't care for this episode at all. I don't know what to do with it. I tried going back to the guy's house to trade the DVD back for my $20, and he just didn't acknowledge that we did a trade and threatened to call the cops on me for harassment. I tried uploading it to YouTube, but I had copyright stripes placed on my account eventually was removed. I eventually gave up and packed the DVD away. To this day, I still don't know what to do with it, or what the creators were thinking. But I know one thing. That disc isn't going anywhere. This creepypasta was based off the unfinished Invader Zim episode 10 Minutes to Doom. Audio recordings are available online since it was released as part of a DVD set. As stated in the pasta, Zim and Dib were supposed to be dead at the end of the episode, until Nickelodeon said no because it was too dark, and they wanted to keep the series alive, which didn't work out. There are a total of 47 released episodes of the 68. They are available on Netflix if you wish to watch them. There are a total of 7 of the unfinished 20 available in audio form, including 10 Minutes to Doom. So that was 10 Minutes to Doom by Cyber the Nerd. I found this one on the Some Ordinary Gamers wiki, which does wonders for people already comparing me to Mutahar. But what did I think about the pasta? Well, unfortunately, as much as I love Invader Zim as a series and how biased I am towards everything about it, this pasta was kind of up in the air. There were occasional just outright mistakes. Like, I kind of paused when he said copyright stripes instead of strikes, where he just, maybe the word got auto-filtered, auto-corrected, and he just didn't proofread. And a lot of the story was kind of just recounting what happened. This happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and it was scary. I think that's the biggest issue, that it's just a series of events. And I know the author was going to imply that this was the original, work in progress episode until I guess they changed it to something else, and then Nickelodeon still canceled it, which would make this strange sketchy guy in his 40s an animator or someone who was just involved with Nickelodeon at the time, which is weird because he's apparently still in contact with the guy. He just won't acknowledge he basically robbed him for $20 with whatever junk he also put in that CD. It's a very weird series of events and doesn't really make sense when you read it at first, and only falls apart when you consider it even more. I don't mean to, punch down on the author Cyber the Nerd, but I think he's even acknowledged that the story is a little middling in quality, which is kind of unfortunate, but not entirely unexpected, because Invader Zim is already a very creepy show. I don't know how it really aired in 2001 to children, considering episodes like Dark Harvest, but it just sounds like an episode of the show because it partially was. You can find some of the audio for this episode just on the internet, and I like the idea of an Invader Zim creepypasta, but a lot of it just didn't feel like distinct enough. This is it's like the episode where they turn into bolognas or hams or whatever those giant things were. It's where the episode ends just with a funny twist instead of them just dying. You can definitely tell the author knew a lot about the series, except for the Urkin blood. I'm pretty sure that's like a very bright pink. They have Danganronpa blood instead of like a dark green blood. And I do like the idea of Dib getting the pack kind of latched into him and it just kind of making him seize and die. That's a very funny idea. I like seeing them both in pain. But unfortunately, I will have to say, the story is just a little bit mid, which is a shame because I think the concept of Invader Zim creepypastas could be really, really nice. Like kind of one episode, a lost episode per se, being so dreary and dark that it just could not ever be aired, which is kind of what this one was going for, but it just didn't have enough of an oomph to really make it work. And of course, there's just kind of weird references where they describe the music as being like Slender, which just kind of shows when the story was written. I believe it was 2014. And of course you have Bloody Gur, which I really want to make a whole dedicated video on. That's going to be awesome. I would love to make several Invader Zim videos, but for now, I think I'm content with this one. I'll see if I can find more, but I don't really have a plan for a lot of the stories I read. I just kind of find them, read them, edit them in a video, put it out in the same day, every week. But I should ask, what did you think? What did you guys and gals think of this story, Invader Zim 10 Minutes to Doom? And alternatively, what did you think of this series as a whole? Because I'm willing to bet that many people who are subscribed to me probably enjoy this series quite a bit. And that's all I have to say for now. Stay tuned for more, because I'm about to upload something a lot higher quality very soon. But until then, have a lovely rest of your day.